Victims pick up the pieces following last week's severe weather. Some can't find the things that meant the most to them. Several Facebook groups have popped up, all in an effort to help connect people with their lost items. And some have had success, showcasing just what a small world it really is. So people have they've already found debris from the Elkhorn, Nebraska area as far away as Odo, Mobile, Storm Lake, and Kingsley. An organizer of one of the Facebook groups says he saw this as a way to just help out because he really couldn't travel to Omaha to help out in that element. So he wanted to do something that he could. And he says it's really fascinating how far some of those mementos like pictures and keepsakes actually traveled. And it gives him the hope that people already finding items that they lost.
Truly amazing how the community can come as one and just kind of go through everything and help each other out without even really spending too much time per se.
One woman who lives in Mapleton said a Facebook post showed more than 60 photos collected, special moments there, and that post shared more than 600 times. She says connections were made to help return those items to the owner.
A lot of those pictures, especially the old baby pictures or the wedding ones, the first communion, I think there was, a lot of those aren't necessarily backed up in a cloud somewhere, and they're hard to come by, if you lose them.
And the hope that the groups and posts on social media will spread and continue to help those impacted by the tornadoes. One of the Facebook groups is titled Nebraska/Iowa 2024 Tornado Lost and Found. And we have the details on these efforts online right now at KTIV.com.